Alright. So if we can't figure out what was going on with this one guy and the Russian or whatever he was. You again. Well, you were warning us last time and you ain't dead, so guess you can hand yourself. Let him through, stair guy. Alright. I'm bugging up ahead, maybe there's a way around. Alright, let's try this way. Lady and man, let's try man. You want, looking for some information. Bet you are a senior type before. You're probably looking for someone or looking for someone that's been stolen, or something that's been stolen. Either way, the Rambuck won't be happy about you sticking your nose into the shot nest. Noontown was hot around here. Nothing, not a goddamn thing. All there is to do is shot nests, get your ass beat by gangs until you decide to join one. Well, which gang are you in? Still in the former camp. I've heard that the Rambuck to do a haze, new members. I'll take getting pushed around every once in a while over that. Alright, I'm leaving. Alright, let's try lady. We got pots and pans. You need pots and pans? No, but for someone, no, for some people would be nice. You seen any friends of the Rambuck show up lately? Sure, I have. What's it to you? Woman eyes you up and down, clearly wanting you to make an offer. Help out the neighborhood. We're just down the street in the warehouse with the glass in front. New guy showed up a few days ago. Seems like a big wig. They've been moving product through there ever since. What kind of product? It costs you extra, sweetie. It's important. Drugs, guns, usual. Seems like more drugs than guns lately, so maybe things will pick up around here. Still warm, color and tail are clearly marked the Rambuck property. Any ideas, Eager? Looks secure. I might be able to blast it with a controlled explosive that spook anyone inside. The best if we could just find the code. Locked up the Keegan family. Know anything about that? Sure, I can help you out for a price. We can deal with that. 500, no less. We can let me know. Fine. 292 something. I don't know what the last number is. I'll get you the most way through though. Enjoy. You know the whole thing? Man, know anything? Alright. It's only a matter of time until I got that, but hey. What can you do? Awesome. Ow! Would you shoot me? That works. Ow. Aha. Aha. That's not what I wanted to do. Crap. Dick. Oh, come on! Of course. How much AP does that guy have? If we can. There we go. Have to get him. Nope. All right. Right. Sniper him to death. No. Oh, maybe. No, we can't. Jeez. We drag the guy back to the warehouse. We're going to find out what he knows. Certainly are. Engineer lies splayed out on the ground, his body trembling violently. Eager shows up, shoves a bottle up his nose and squeezes. The engineer shudders violently and the trembling begins to subside. He glances at you. An aerosol BZD helped treat the seizures. Bannock was kind enough to include it in his goodie bag. It won't last long, but it should give you'll hear enough muscular control to answer a few questions. The engineer's voice comes out in a trembling stutter. Frag you, troll. See? He's talking already. The engineer's eyes burn with hate besides sweat dot on his brow. He struggles to control the tremors that whack his body. He takes a deep breath, holds it, and releases it slowly, trembling, begins to subside. Doing better, Yuli? Ready to check? Chat? I know the troll. We have a history, but you are a stranger to me. You sure that you have the stomach for this stranger? Not many do. You have a stomach for all sorts of things. Things you can't even imagine, Yuli. Shadowrun thinks she can frighten me. How adorable. Oh, Yuli, you should be frightened. You're in serious trouble, my friend. He leans towards the engineer. He recoils, grinding the back of his head against the grease-stained Duraplast tiles. You're helpless. A cripple, but if you answer your questions, things will go easier for us. Tell us, whose payroll are you on? She grabs a fistful of orc hair and lifts his head to his face, inches from his. Tell us who sent you to the Shadowrun. A long pause, eventually the engineer looks away. Alright, you want to know so badly? I'll tell you. Tamanus sent me here. They want to use Shadowrun as a base of operations in Berlin. My point of contact is a ghoul named Beetle. There, you got your intel, now set me free or kill me. Yuli, you won't roll over on an employer this easily. Your rep tells me that much. No? Looking us around. You wanted a name, I gave you a name. Want more, I can give you those too. I can name you 100 clients who love a piece of Shadowrun. How do you intend to determine who really sent me? A couple ideas. You try beating the truth out of me, you can try cutting on me. Get creative with the pliers if you like. Every time you hurt me, I'll give you a different name. Torture me or don't, it'll take it in the same way. I'll be dead, you'll know nothing for certain, and my client will move on ahead on schedule. Qualified, maybe you don't have to end that way, maybe you'll get out of here alive. You think I'm delusional? I'm already dead. The she-troll beside you is going to put a bullet in my brain as soon as she gets what she wants. Just look at her. She took a long look at her ugly troll face. She's aching to put me on the ground. You got bigger issues to worry about than my face, Yuli. If you don't start telling me what I want to hear, in the next 30 seconds I'm going to get messy. You know, Eager, I'd like to tell you a story. We share so much history, you know. Eager says nothing, but her eyes narrow. This is a funny story if it's about your time in the KSK. A story about futility. Tell you all about the many lives you've touched and how this syndicate touched them again afterwards. Would you like that? The long pause, eventually Eager turns to face you. Do me a favor, sweep the building for intel, anything we might have missed in the way. I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm on it. Do have a friend here. Look, I'm gonna come back and he's gonna have a bullet through his skull, but what can I do? Broken body of a human man lies on the floor, his face messed with cuts, concealing blood, and his head oddly deformed, spread his wounds, his mouth twisted in a macabre smile. Tip of the gangster's head, you guessed that his skull has been fractured in at least 3 places. The center of his forehead particularly gruesome, and it looks soft, as though the skin were stretched like a tent between shards of broken nose. You see a great smear of gore on the door of the room you found him in. The implication's clear. The man bashed his own head in, trying to get out, and he did it with a smile on his face. Hands are badly broken too. You've seen sorts of injuries, bare knuckle fights, but you've never seen anything like this. The man punched something hard, went to punching, until his hands were reduced to useless slabs of meat. We could have bioteched that. Your drone has been snapped together of prefab parts, a dozen different manufacturers. It's cheap, utilitarian to the thing, remarkable only in that it is incredibly plain. A half-bright teenager could cobble something like this together in an afternoon. The drone sits in the charging cradle. Its turbo fan underpowered. Unpowered, a cheerful green light blinks in front of the panel, reminding you that it's still active. So there's something under the flimsy plastic dome. Drone's cargo compartment, whatever the thing is here, will deliver is carrying it in. Cargo container. Rows of couches containing a plastic lid. Rather than swinging open, the lid slides back to reveal a touchpad. As long as the touchpad thing is password locked. Intelligence. Examine the drone more closely. Thing looks. Taking a close look, you notice something strange. There is a set of electrical container plates lining the lip of the drone's cargo compartment. For a bit that this thing is outfitted with an anti-tampering system of some kind. Thermal storage barrels, light draw sleeves, fills away the empty. Ledger! The ledger of the crew undercover with cheap leather bent the paper into tissue-thin newsprint. Read through the pages. Pages filled to overflowing with handwritten text. You don't recognize the language, but judging the accent marks, you guess it's Scandinavian tongue. You can't read it. The arrangement of text tells you it's leading to primarily being used as an address book. Move on. The flat looks like it hasn't been used in years. Save it in the off chance that I feel like this ledger has something to do with something. I'm not sure what. You can see Eager's chest is sheared blood. Most of it seems to have sheared his nose. Eager's face shows you her bunched fists are dripping red. Having fun? Looking for fun with this one just because it deserves it. No, it was. Bastard is done. If you heard the things they just told me, you'd do the same. Fair enough, just don't get carried away. We need him. Tell me what you found. But, yes, please, enlighten us. I found this ledger. Doesn't recognize the language. It looks Scandinavian. It looks through this journal, quickly flipping through the soy calf-stained pages. Norwegian, maybe. I'm thinking it's written in Bokmal, whatever that is. Can't read it, but it looks like it should be manifest. Something, there's a lot of addresses in there. She riffles through the pages, flipping a cheap paper with her thumbnail. Looks like the address, addresses all the way through. Some are unannotated, but I can't see any names. 2/3 of the way, look through book stops north. Is it interesting? Wordlessly turns her journal around the top of the page. She's written in a different hand. A single word is written in English, but you can't understand it all the same. But you can understand it all the same. Wednesday. And not particularly helpful without a full data, but I guess it's something. Of course, Wednesday might not refer to the day of the week at all. It could be a code for something. Taken out of context like this, it's possible to say. Should be good. You make of this. It might be nothing, or it could be mean as he's back in the bed with a Lobak syndicate. Taken from your old bosses again? Maybe who's to say? You are, if you know what's good for you. Forget it. I said we'll keep searching. That's what she said there at the end, but whatever. Maybe Wednesday is this. Her password. Wednesday. I spelled that wrong. I know I did. Wednesday. There we go. Once the cargo container pops open with a click, inside you find what appears to be a homemade SimSense chip. It's securely in a custom-made plastic bracket. The chip! Let the chip out of the bracket and into a pocket. A few seconds later, an angry hissing sound comes from somewhere deep within the drone. Step away, the drone hisses sound goes into a roar. Bright white sparks spit out from the drone's melting chassis and the streaks across the room. Seen this kind of action before. Thermite, whoever built the drone, must have wired it with a self-destruct device. Within seconds, all that's left of the little drone is a molten wreck of charging cradle. Foul-smelling smoke pours from the remains. You steal another glance at the chip and you recover and turn away. Back. Find anything else? A pair of courier drones in the other room. No markings. They looked custom built. One of them had been slagged, but the other one had this chip in the storage compartment. Reduce the chip. Engineer's eyes widen slightly. He turns the head and coughs rack his body. Interesting. This means something to you, Yuli? Eager takes a chip from you and holds it up to the light. No identified markings. I've seen enough BDLs and beetles in my time to know, well, when I see it, this is different. It's been modified somehow. Go ahead and slide it, bitch. I'll take you on a ride of your life. Smack him for me, will you? Hit him. He connects with the ruined bead of the engineer's nose. He coughs, chokes his own blood, and spits his wad into your chest. You don't know what you're holding, Slag. You don't deserve to touch that shit. I think you're right here, Eager. Our friend is here as an addict. Fuck you. The thing is, I know our friend's rep, and I'm telling you, he's much too careful to himself addicted to Sims. If these things are going to look hooked this badly, they must be even more addictive than standard beetles. That's a frightening thought. Tell me the last thing we need is more Sim junkies on our streets. You got anything you need to add to that, Yuli? You have no idea how wrong you are about all of this. He struggles to rise from the floor, but his muscular refuses to cooperate. Finally, he gives up with a scowl. If I could move my arms and take that chip from you, and show you what it does. Sure that you would. Good find. You stuck his nerve. Any other thoughts? What about the other room? From the looks of him, he tried using his head to beat down the steel reinforced door. Interesting, but that's not unusual in these places. These are all kind of drugs that could make a person act that way. Most of them aren't hard to get in places like the shot nest. What about the SimSense chips? Could that drive someone to do something like this? I don't see why not. It's worth checking it out. Worth checking out at any rate. Check the body and see if you had a chip, Jack. Be quick about it. I don't know how long it'll be before you have company here. Peeling back the patch of matted hair, you find something a casual viewer would have missed. The man-headed chip jack. It's a cheap model, but sufficient loading SimSense beetles. But little else. Doesn't take much effort to pry it open. Inside the chip jack, you find a glob of plastic that looks as though whatever this guy was running melted down sometime after he slid it. Chip jack thinks this couldn't generate enough heat to destroy the SimSense chip. The illogical conclusion is the chip itself was wired to melt down after use. Take the burnt-out chip and leave. Hey! His eyes remained locked on the chip, his face gone pallid, and his shirt drenched with sweat, his eyes bulging, his breathing heavy. Find what you're looking for? Yep, I pried this chip jack open and found a blob of melted plastic inside. Still warm to the touch. Heard of things like this before. Single-use Sims designed to self-destruct after they're slotted. Keeps the customer from reusing the same beetle over and over again. I'd say that you found our missing chip. I agree, but the Dranger who slotted this wasn't blissed out like normal Sim junkie. It was almost opposite, like he looked like a madman. Madman, you don't know a damn thing. So why don't you educate us? No. I'd love to get your hands on that chip Eager's head if you could move your hands, that is. Hatred burns in the engineer's stare. He struggles to rise from the floor. After a few seconds of insufficient thrashing, he gives up. You really want this thing, don't you? This is junkie behavior. Whatever this thing is, you're hooked on it. Chip is everything. It's worth dying for. I was ignorant once like you, but then my eyes were opened and I saw the chip. Slot one and you'll become a god. He stares at him, his expression flat. The engineer sneers. I too was a skeptic. Then the wolf caught me, and the raven opened my eyes, and now at last I can see. Give me the chip. It was promised to me. I need it. Tell us who you're looking for, and it's all yours. Engineer spits out a mouthful of blood, then hits the floor with a sickening splat. He grinds his teeth and then snarls out a single word. Winter night. In a moment of silence, finally Eager speaks. Never heard of him. Of course you haven't. If you had, you'd already be dead. They don't leave loose ends. They have money, sheet roll, money and influence enough to put syndicates to shame. Even I cannot say how much, but I do know that what I've seen is the tip of the spear. All right, let's say we're telling the truth and some sort of secret society is behind this. What do you want with Shot Nest? What do they want, sorry? You do not tell me these things. All I know is that they want to store things here. Crates, boxes shipped in from all over, no cargo inspections, and no traces back to them. Are they shipping weapons, drugs, more of these beetles? You think that I asked them that? It's not my place to know. All I know is that that was promised to me. Give me the chip, you promise. She promised you the chip. Smiles, engineer slowly pulls a knife from her belt. Serrated edge glints in the light. On the other hand, didn't offer you a goddamn thing. We should just let him slot the thing. Not unless he sweetens the deal. You hear that, Yuli? I'll give you what you want, but you need to make it worth my while. I have a stash here in the warehouse. A custom rifle. It's all yours if you give me what's mine. Using your rifle, what do you think, fearless leader? Once we know where the stash is, give him the chip. Over there in the corner. There's a duffel bag under the floor plate. Now give it to me. All right, Yuli. It's all yours. Iga leans in and grabs the engineer's head with the left hand and presses the chip jack open with her right. She slaps the chip into the jack. The clicks shut. Second passes. Nothing happens. What have you done? Why don't I feel anything? Oops, sorry, Yuli. I guess the cyborg deactivator shut down your chip jack too. Somewhere in the back of that addled skull, I'm sure that's probably knew that, but then hope springs eternal, doesn't it? So if I give you the chip, I never promised that it would work. I'm going to kill you. Do you hear me? I'll rip your spine. Never promised I'd let you live, either. Eager? You'd have to ask me twice. Suddenly, the engineer's entire body bucks forward, his eyes bulge out of his skull, and he beats the back of his head against the floor. He opens his mouth to speak, but the only sound that comes out is a gurgling scream. Eager takes a step back, knife lowers. Something's wrong. Look at his hands. The orc's mil-spec cyber arms are twitching. His fingers seem to move on their own accord, writhing aimlessly in the air. The light of the chip jack begins to blink. How long was that cyborg deactivator supposed to last? Longer than this, I'm going to kill Bannequin. The engineer's body surges forward, a violent convulsive motion. His eyes bulge out of his skull, then his chest evaporates in a spray of light. Whoa. Whoa, step way back. There it is! It exploded! If you watch the chemical fire that rages from the engineer's body, blackens his flesh and spits sparks across the room. The same reaction you saw when the drone went up with the thermite reaction. It takes a full minute for him to stop switching. His employees, Winter Night, they must have implanted that thing in him. Yeah, judging by the way he reacted, he didn't know they were doing it. Must have thrown it in while he was getting the other work done. I'm willing to bet that if he hadn't used the cyborg deactivator on him, he'd have gone up before he had the chance to spill his names. Looking for proof that who his employer was, I think that was it. Yeah, we know to warn the Flux State about. Let's grab a rifle and go. We're done here. Event retrieve a navy blue duffel bag with engineer said it would be. The distinguished shape of a rifle barrel can be seen through the canvas. Here you go, Eager. All yours. She takes the bag from you, unzips it, and her eyes go wide. When he said that he was accustomed, he wasn't kidding. Gingerly, she reaches into the bag and pulls out a sleek, angular shape. This is a Steyr AUG CSL multi-weapon system. A very nice and very expensive piece of hardware. You really put a lot of aftermarket work into this. I don't even recognize some of these accessories he's bolted onto this thing. Comfortable using it? Yes, I do. It looks like these aftermarket mods have more or less locked into the assault rifle configuration, but that's alright. I've been looking for a worthy mid-range weapon. This will do nicely. Come on for this, leader. Let's get back home. I'm not comfortable with tonight with the Flux State. I think we should handle him ourselves. This is beyond the scope of our capabilities. I don't have any contacts in Norway. We wouldn't even know where to begin looking for the Winter Night. And if we found them, what then? The two of us aren't going to stop the international conspiracy on our own. We're good, but we're not that good. Speak for yourself. Alright, one-woman army, believe what you want, but even if you could take them down on your own, you don't have the time. You still got the dragon to deal with, remember? You can't take the time to go scrounging in Norwegian countryside looking for a secret society. Let the F-State worry about protecting Berlin's borders, that's what it's there for. Get just a bunch of strangers with us. I understand where you're coming from. Believe me, I do. I like clear resolution as much as anyone else, but out in the field, you almost never get one. There's no easy fixes in my line of work. You don't kill the bad guy and have everyone live happily ever after. That's a fairy tale, not real life. The real world is more complicated than that. We're going to solve this on our own. That's never the plan, but if you still need some closure on this, take another look at what's left of the engineer. She jerks her thumb in the direction of the orc's smoldering corpse. He's dead and gone, and we're the reason why. That's something, I guess. It's a lot, believe me. Come on, fearless leader. We still got in gang Tory. Let's drop this and get moving. I guess. my U-boat thing. Oh well. Yay, 2 karma. Which means more spell casting for me! I'm a powerful mage. Let's look around, see if there's anything we can do. Messages, no new messages, jobs directory. Okay, nothing there. This. Estate protection. The writers have it on good authority that their Winter Night cult is eyeing Shatness for expansion. We do not have any information as to what purpose they have for Berlin, but for the good of the flux, we should keep a watchful eye on the situation. Detachment file for the more details. Shocking-well writers. Can't track down that much with these guys, though. What's the big deal? Tolstoy. A friend out in the Cal Free State who swears that he's working for them before. Says that they're the real deal, and honest to God, global conspiracy. I thought he was full of dreck. Norwegian cult with money and influence to rival the big corpse. Come on, pro shot. Yeah, sounds a bit far-fetched, Tolstoy. That said, my buddy is rolling in you, and hell if I know where it came from. Or maybe I should say was, pro shot. As in past tense, so what happened to Tolstoy? Went on a shooting rampage a few weeks back, took out his entire family and a couple of neighbors before Lone Star managed to bring him down. He'll be sitting in one of those Supermax facilities for the rest of his life, and the money got seized as evidence, pro shot. That's horrible, man, Tolstoy. Yeah, it was. Thing is, read his arrest records. At the time, Lone Star tackled him. He was screaming crazy things. Things about the world burning and a moon made of blood, so maybe there's something out to all this after all, pro shot. Energy source. Got a solar panels like everybody, but does anyone have experience with this mana turbine service? I'm off grid, so there's some times when I need to do some late night decking or maintain my telescoping limbs. Alan Altbit. Is that the thing where magic comes by and drops some juice into a generator? My buddy was telling me about them last week. The turbine spins mana around and charges last for weeks, he said. Wraith Lake 44. They're a scam, chummer. The mage is going to be out of there with your money before you realize how much power you actually got. You'd better off peddling a bike battery, Tolstoy. Posting any paydays? No. Alright. Alright. I'm gonna need to do that. Alright. Drive to Kubazar to the Schrodenberg Forest was a long one, but for 6 hours you and Glory rode in the silence. Though the sound of the road is company. Now you find yourself crouching in the woods, waiting off in the distance, a rustic exterior. Stellar looks cautiously warm and inviting, but you know it's waiting inside. The anticipation churns in your gut like a living thing. Eventually the van pulls to a compound driveway and rolls out along a service road before disappearing from view. Glory gives you a nod and begins to scramble forward. Harrow has left the building. It's time for you to make your way inside. I thought we were here to kill him. Good, I guess. All right. Weathered edifice of Stellar's looms above you, the dark, sinister, the chills night air. Bet the horrifying stories that Gloria's told you about the place ultimately strangely comforting. Back of your mind, insidious voices whisper that you could stay here forever. Do you feel it, the lure of this place? When I was a kid, when I was whole, the The pull was insatiable. Yeah, I feel it. Doesn't change a thing. We had to do. No, it doesn't. Going to see some terrible things in this place. First Stiller exists to prey on the young, and we are going to have to come face to face with that. Are you prepared for this? Don't worry about me. I'm solid. Good. When I compare notes, make sure that we're both on the same page. Take Howard out of commission. You were right when you said we couldn't afford to let him live, even if he completely destroys this place. It'd all be for nothing if he got away. He'd just start another cult somewhere else. What do you do first? It's your run. We're here to back you up. Make your way inside, take out the shrine that Howard uses his power focus. Can't touch him while the thing is standing, but after bring it down, he'll be vulnerable. Tell me more about this shrine. It's a lump of rock, but as tall as I am, inscribed with runes and is encrusted with bone. The shrine's power comes from an entity that Howard bound into the stone. Something very old and very dangerous, a toxic spirit. In many ways, it is the heart of this place. Toxic spirits. Won't be messing with those. Can't touch her while the shrine is intact. If we try, he'll siphon enough power from it to slaughter us where we stand. But if we confront the shrine and kill the spirit, the astral backlash from his death will cripple him. And all we have to do is finish him off. I'm going to ask you a few more details before we head inside. What do we take it out with? Explosives? Making the rock won't work, we'll have to take out the spirit directly, track it to where it lives, and kill it. I brought what we'll need to do that. I can't tell you exactly how this is going to go down. The spirit itself will have a good deal of control over that, but you're better prepared yourself because I think that this is going to be one hell of a fight with the other cultists. We'll save any we can, but their energy released when the spirit dies will hurt them too. Anyone whose mind has touched it will take a hit. You mean the backlash will hit us too? You've only just arrived. The spirit hasn't a chance to warm its way into you, or yet you might back out for a minute or two. Back up for a minute, but otherwise you should be fine. As for me, like I said, this place can't touch me anymore. So this is the best shot then. It is. So friends, important. Why didn't you mention earlier? When I lived here, Harrow barely used the thing. To be honest, I think he was afraid of it. Back before I ran away, First Stiller was nothing more than a cult personality that revolved around Harrow. He didn't need magical to help keep us here. We loved him, and we believed in his message. We created shrines as an insurance policy. From this change that he started using the shrine's power? Yes, and I think my escape was the cause of that change. I know Harrow. When I ran, I bruised his ego. His charisma and charm had failed him, and my disappearance rubbed his nose in that failure. He wouldn't be willing to chance something like that happening again. Not when we had the means to prevent it. So cultists here, like puppets, shrines control them? Not exactly, it's more insidious than that. Think of the shrine's influence as a drug. It lowers your inhibitions and makes you compliant. If you were to stay here for a couple of days, you'd fall in love with this place, and you wouldn't even know why. All of Harrow's bullshit would start to make sense, and you'd be happy. In essence, all the cultists here are addicted to this place, and that makes them a threat, yes, but it also makes them victims. I think I know everything I need to know. Let's get moving. I'm with you. Let's do it. This door's locked, and that's what's going to tell me, but let's try it anyway. Door shimmers with a faint red light. As you approach the door, you can feel a squirming sensation in the back of your skull. Your limbs begin to tingle. They feel heavy. The closer you get to the doorway, the more struggle it continue to move forward and forward. It feels as though your strength is being siphoned by your body. Willpower 6, fight through it. Hit your teeth and lean forward, forcing your heavy limbs to move through the force of will. As you near the doorknob, it begins to slowly red crackle and sparks leap from the glowing brass, and the crisp smell of ozone fills the air from the doorknob. You rest your arm up where it hangs in the side, reach for the spectral knob. A moment later, you can feel a cold metal hand grasp your shoulder. Glory. She speaks a single word. Don't. Step away from the door. The crawling sensation gradually recedes. A moment later, you stretch and returns to your limbs. Strength returns limbs. Shrine's room is through here, but the barrier, it wasn't here before. Harrow must have warded the doorway after I ran. How do we get through? The ward is a lock. There must be a key. Back when I helped Harrow run this place, he and I were the only ones allowed in the shrine room. So we look for whoever's taking my place. That's where the key will be. You will know who that is. It'll be a girl. Harrow would never let a male as a second. He wouldn't want the competition. Her hair will be fire red. It's a sort of insignia of rank within the cult. Girl with red hair. Got it. I think it's going to be her girlfriend. Distant murmuring sound coming through the door inside. Three voices, three or four people are taking along themselves. Can't make out what they're saying, but one of them sounds disparaged. You heard the tone before. It sounds like a man pleading for his life. Just keep moving. Whatever's going on there, we don't get involved. Sounds like somebody is being tortured. Is in trouble in there. I don't doubt it. We're here to kill Harrower, not the people he's brainwashed. If we've taken down the shrine, the cultists in there will be hurt, disoriented. We can deal with him then, without knowing what's going on in that room. Now leave him without knowing what's going on in that room. Here, people are focused. Sounds of crystallized become clear. Shouldn't have come here. The tools of government aren't welcome in the First Stellar. We have use for people like you. Please think about this. I have kids at home, not much younger than you. I'm not here to represent government. I'm not a threat to you. I was only doing my job. You're wearing a uniform that makes you a tool and a pawn of our enemy. Harrow said so. Just a park ranger. I'm only here due to a wildlife survey. I don't even know that you people were out here. But now you do, and if you leave this place, others will find out. You brought this on yourself. No, please. Voice dissolves into a long, piercing scream. You're right, we can't... I mean, I feel like we could help him. But whatever. Could be a shadow terminal. I'll leave it alone, can't do anything about it. An extensively large tome sits a cradle on the pedestal. The paper is robust and fibrous, but the binding has been expertly stitched, and the steel plate running along the book's spine anchors it to the pedestal. Gloria stares down at it, frowning. Harrow's Manifesto, the handcrafted line of bullshit he feeds his musicians. You're all aided up with the smile and came away convinced that he was a genius. Looks like he's expanded over the last few years. It's at least twice as thick as it was when I was here. Maybe there's something there we can use. Wouldn't want to hang around long enough to find out. This is Harrow's personal library. He used experiments in here that were dangerous, things like sick things. He's never allowed in the room without Harrow. Nobody was. He said it was for our safety, and I think he was telling the truth. I feel it is in here, and I don't want to say anything longer than we have to. Then I since we came here, but it doesn't change the fact that we should learn what we can. Alright, I'll watch your back. Be trying quick. Leaf through the beginning of the manifesto. Through the early pages of the manifesto, find what looks like a good place to jump in and start to read. When I first set out on the path to free living, I realized that I'd have to rethink all my earlier assumptions about life. I had to question my own values and beliefs. I needed the strength to trust in answers that came to me. The prospect was daunting, but I also necessary. The road to true freedom is paved with unanswered questions. After all, you can't learn to be free from a book. The answers will come from a Bible, an instruction manual, or a code of conduct. If you don't learn that, you'll never break your chains. The path to true freedom is one must each walk his or her own. What makes life worth living? What in life is truly valuable? What does the dross that can be burned away? I spent weeks dissecting every aspect of my life to find answers to the questions. Slowly agonizing, I pared down the list until only 4 items remained. These 4 items became cornerstones of my new philosophy and the base for everything that was First Stellar stands for. Love, the first cornerstone that was most important. Without love, life is bland and meaningless. Without love, you might as well be machines. Love what you do. Love people around you. But above all, love yourself. Self-determination, second cornerstone. Each of us must be his or her own shepherd. No more gods and no more kings. Your life is your own. Lash out against anyone or anything that tries to treat you like a property. An assault of your freedom is an assault on your whole being, and it must be within equally ferocious response. Charity, the third cornerstone. A miserly life is an empty life. If each of us is his or her master, then nobody should live as a serf. By helping others along the path of enlightenment, so we enrich our own lives. Passion, the final cornerstone. Complacency is poison. Be wary of it. Ambition is the key to fulfilling life. Don't settle for what is. If you do, you abandon what could be. You hear the rustling sound behind you, Glory turning to see trouble look on her face. The ominous feeling is getting stronger. I feel like we're being watched. I'm going to continue reading. Leafing through the middle of the book, you find a section dedicated to Harrow's Rules of Living. Be free in all things, and experience that freedom with your whole being, body, mind, and spirit. Discard the oppressive traditions of modesty and shame that you could have been indoctrinated since birth. The free thinkers has no use for them. Your body is a source of pride, of pleasure, and of succor for yourself and for others. Enjoy it and share the joy freely with others who desire it. Be selfish. Don't enslave yourself to others at the expense of your own happiness. Take what you want and do so unashamedly. Our desires are are important part what makes us human. Society has trained us to hide that part of ourselves from the world, but we free living person doesn't cower in the shadows. Own your desires and rejoice in them. Selfishness is ultimately dishonest, and dishonesty has no place in a free society. Show reverence. The free living person understands that the only true governance in this world is the law of nature, and that in nature there is hierarchy. The rabbit doesn't question the wolf. The mouse does not wonder why it must run from the cat. They do because they must. Their survival depends on it. As in nature, so it is in the first stellar. Know your place in the food chain and understand the mechanics by which you can better yourself. Leaf forward, find here and there are at least 20 more pages worth of rules. Each is worded vaguely enough to have multiple interpretations. Near the rustling from Gloria moving behind you. She stares down at the rules of living and looks disgust in her face. Clear, simple rules with a focus on instinct gratification. I can see why they would be appealing to a street kid. That's what Harrow wrote for them, and he mined the entire library's worth of 60 counterculture essays, new age self-help books, and cult manifesto to do so. There isn't a single original idea in this thing. I think we say for a lot of religions, that doesn't keep them from finding followers. Freezes up, her shoulder hunches her shoulders. That's an ominous feeling. It's getting closer. There's something in this room with us. I'm sure of it. We need to get out of here now. You keep an eye out. I have to finish this thing. There might be something in here we need. I mean, I feel like a spirit's going to attack us. And I kind of want to fight it. Final page is the manifesto devolve into semi-cohesive rants about anarchy, social Darwinism, free love, and the horned god. You've seen this kind of thing before. Harrow's philosophy is collapsing under its own weight. Unfortunately, none of his cultists seem to have caught on to that fact. Done. This philosophy of Harrow's really starts to break down. Let's out a startled cry, cutting your sentence short. Out of the corner of your eye, you see her wheel to face something behind you. All at once, the room fills with a slaughterhouse smell and a smell of blood like bile and feces, the stench of an abattoir. There it is. Turn to catch sight of something sliding into the world. Looks like a charred man with a pair of tortured faces, where its shoulders should be. The thing burns like a Roman candle, spitting out hot sparks and fiery plume. An oily substance runs down between its dangling legs and spatters into the floor. Where these drips land, they burn. Look out! Dick! Cover, heal myself. Monobolt! Lightning! Why the thing attacked you begins to dissolve the moment of death as you watch tissue break down the growing, sick, bubbling pitch and rendered fat. What the hell was that thing? Oh, come on. You just said it was, whatever. Something from another place. Like I said, outside the boundaries between the physical world and the astral plane are weak here. Things come through. I had this abomination just pissed lighter fluid under the floor and tried to burn us to death. I think that things came through as underselling it a bit. I think that we've gotten everything from that book that we're going to. Get the hell out of here. We need to keep moving anyway. Your voice is speaking low tones through the wooden door. You can't make out the words, but the regular chorus of rough laughter tell you that the people on the other side are enjoying themselves. Voices belong to Harrow's acolytes. They'll have some magical training. They like hurting people. You open that door and we're going to have a fight on our hands. How do you know they're acolytes? Process elimination. Initiates are allowed in that room. It's one of Harrow's rules. On rare occasions that an initiate is invited in, he usually doesn't come back out again. What happens in there? Sort of a lounge for Harrow's inner circle. The acolytes and the bait girls, and Harrow's wives. Marta and I used to spend a lot of time in there. Now let's keep moving. Let's try this door. Refrigerator. You open the refrigerator, a whiff of ammonia sticks in your nostrils. Watery light glints off the store's polished interior. The fridge is stacked full of large plastic bins, all tightly sealed and neatly labeled. It's hard to tell through the opaque plastic, but they appear to be full of meat. Inspect the containers. Unload the containers and take a closer look. The first thing that hits you is the smell. The meat here is beyond rancid. White mold frosts the sides of the bin, and it's all that you can do from keep gagging. As you rush to put the lid back on, you recognize a familiar shape. It's rotten meat, a mangled human hand. So what do I think it is? Ritual supplies. The adversary prefers them aged. Hero teaches all of the initiates how to do it, how to harvest the meat and how to store it, how to label it. Nobody likes doing it at first, but you learn. By the end, it doesn't even bother you anymore. Did you ever do this? I was Hero's right hand, remember? What do you think? I don't want to think about it. Then don't. Come on, let's keep moving. Medicine cabinet. Add to my stash. Awesome. This is Ignatius' dormitory. The new arrivals were brought here. There's still hope for these kids. Hero hasn't changed them, hasn't changed the room yet. Then we need to stop him before he can... Wait a moment. Wait, listen a moment. Moving on the other side. Strain your ears to listen to soft voice from inside the room come drifting out of the nearby vent. You hear a woman's voice. The sound is crisp and smooth and sweet and instantly puts you at ease. Come on. Calm now, dear. It's probably nothing. You no need to worry yourself. We're so far off the beaten track we don't get lots of visitors. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see Gloria's back stiffen. She flinches through she's been stung. What if it is someone? What if it's bad people have found us? What if they followed me here and they've come to... People's voice cuts in and soft and comforting. Well, then we'll send them away. You're perfectly safe here. Why you have to believe that. Don't worry, dear heart. Hera won't let anyone hurt you. You're not here in this place. Not ever again. You certain, Marta? Positive, be calm now. As long as you're here with us, nothing will ever happen to you. It's her, the girl who lured you here. That's right, Marta, the bait Harrow used to get me to this place. What do you want to do? She's in there, she'll be Harrow's #1, my old position. His hand is way with all with us, but he was always sweet to Marta. That means she'll have the key to the shrine room. In that case, we're going to have to find a way to get it away from her. Maybe we can tuck her, convince her to give it to us, give us the key. Maybe, but not here, and not now. Those kids in there, they'd all die for her. They already love her, that's what she does. Can't risk confronting her in that room. If the situation turns ugly, any one of those kids will happily eat a bullet for her. And that's not what I came here to do. No, but we came here to kill Harun. She is the way to do that. Yeah, she is, but we'll deal with her later. I won't hurt any more kids. Hush now, boys. Get some rest. You got a big day tomorrow, the biggest day of your lives. You get to meet Harrow. I promise you, after you speak with him, you'll see the whole world in a different way. A better way. All right, Marta. Have a good night. You too, dear. Dear heart, all of you. Do this in sound of a door sliding shut. Breath moment, they release it. The coast is clear. We can handle this initiates. Just a bunch of scared kids without Marta here there to egg them on. We won't try anything. Time like the present. As she closes the door, he whips his head up to look at you. He takes a shuddered step backwards, alarmed, opens his mouth to cry for help. You don't want to do that. Gloria looks deep in the ancient's eyes, transfixing him. We're not here to hurt you. We're here, friends of ours. Don't bother calling out Marta. We're just doing it here to have a word with her. Yeah, okay, you do that. We're just going to get outside this door. Whoever this goes, we're going to have more quickly. If she dies, Hera will know it and we'll trust her to keep the mouth shut if she lives. We take the key to the shrine room, break it through the ward, and confront the spirit. Are we clear on this? We'll come back to this. There are a few of us there. We'll check this thing out and combat first. Alright. Might as well check out this door. Probably talk to the female initiate. Gloria pauses beside the van. She traces the side of the claw. Remember cruising back alleys of Truboig and looking for kids that need help. The bait girls, Marta and the others like her, would offer them money or food or drugs or sex or whatever it is it took them to get in the van, and once they piled in, Hera would be waiting to greet them. Remember so many nights like that. I remember how much I used to enjoy it. So going back and shows the clarity most runners that I know wouldn't have done what you're doing tonight. Left my own devices, I probably wouldn't have. You pushed me to do this, so I'm with redemption. I owe you for that. Don't thank me until we're back safe. The cubers are, so don't want to lose ground as it turns out. You don't owe me anything. Tell yourself whether you like. We both know it's true. Come on, let's keep moving. All right. Out of curiosity, let's see what happens if we just go in here. Open the door. Oh. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Spotted him all over the place. Something here I want to see. Alright, guess that's this. Okay, let's get the picture. Hanging against the wall, you find a grainy photograph that has been mounted on the wooden panel. The wooden looks like it is recovered from a construction site. It is rough, splintery stuff, and from a few nails jutting out from the wood at odd angles. The photo depicts a pair of teenage girls in ratty clothes posing against a forested backdrop. The two are entwined with a loving embrace. One is leaning into the plant to kiss on the other's cheek, and the other one is smiling. The smiling girl has a head of fire red hair. It takes a moment to realize that you're looking at the red-haired girl's Glory. In the picture, she looks vibrant, happy, and alive. You don't recognize the other girl's face, but from what Glory has told you in the past, you guess that's probably Marta. Glory says the photo face is devoid of an expression. After a moment, she closes her eyes. Happier times, huh? I used to think so. This place, these people, I loved them so much. Goddamn fool I was. A glint catches something small and delicate hanging from the nails in the wood. Leaning against, and you see it clearly the ring made of braided silver and wires. Anything about this ring? Ryder gave me that to me the day this photo was taken. She said she made it for me. I left it behind when I left this place. Maybe Marta still has fingers. Stranger things have happened. Haven't you been paying attention? Marta never cared about me. She was bait. It was never her job to lure me. It was her job to lure me here and 100 other kids like me. This ring doesn't mean anything. Then why does she keep it? Question. I don't know. She stares at the ring for a long moment, then snatches it from the picture frame. She tucks it away in her satchel. It was mine, so I'm taking it. Let's keep moving. What? Clothes. Dirty torn shirt lies discarded on the ground. The fabric is spattered with blood. Glory stares down at it, unblinking. Initiate must have worn that in here. It's way too small for an acolyte. Her voice is soft and sad. Maybe he did something to offend her, or maybe a member of the inner circle was in the mood for sport. Doesn't matter either way. The owner of the shirt doesn't need it anymore. Alright. Go open the door. Ow.
Oh. Oh.
This is the old trade replayer speaks her voice. It's unbelievable how little things have changed. I remember this, stealing this from Harrow. The owner, well, he didn't need it anymore. Remember how proud Harrow was when how loved I felt. He was using you just like he uses everyone else, you said to yourself. Of course he was, but he couldn't have done it if I hadn't allowed myself to be used. Let's keep moving. Step away from the park rangers. Step towards the park ranger. His eyes are wide and they move from unity to glory to the scene of carnage in the room. It takes you a moment to realize the glory isn't following you. Turn to find her standing in place, staring at the bodies of the slaughtered acolytes. Her expression is unreadable. It had to be done. They would have killed him. Back when I lived here, I would have too. All I would have done is trade 2 innocent lives for 1. Maybe so, but they were the ones holding the knives. Yeah. Ranger staggers forward, collapses his knees. He's bleeding in a dozen places along the small wounds. His blood pours his body. His sheets pool in the stick in a slick out of the hardwood floor. Don't know who you are, but thank you. The monsters were going to bleed me out. They took turns cutting me, carve up my arm like a holiday roast. Can you patch him up, Glory? To fix this, he'll need a trip to the hospital, but I can get him on his feet. Glory goes to binding the park ranger's wounds. Within a few minutes, she staunches the wounds, worst through the bleeding. Thank you. I think I can make it out of here on my own. My truck isn't far from here. When you get to the hospital, people are going to have questions. What are you going to tell them? What do you want me to say? The place is no longer a concern. You don't tell anybody what you found. You understand? What do you like? But tomorrow this place won't exist anymore. Tell them whatever you like, but by this time tomorrow this place won't exist anymore. That's what you want. I owe you my life, Fraulein. I owe you both. Then I glance at the dead cultist. She looks back up the ranger and gives him a curt nod. When they took me, they confiscated my gear. I saw them stashed behind the vent in the garage before they dragged me in here. I don't need it. It'll only slow me down. I'll take it. Thanks. Look at that. All turned out good anyway. Aha. Alright. That mustache. Alright. Alright, grade 3 medkits. All will be well. Ishit by the door, staring at Glory's limbs, her eyes wide. She's mousy little thing, probably somewhere in the vicinity of 17 years old, with purple contact lenses and shock of blue hair. He glances up at Glory, blinking. You used to live here, didn't you? I've seen your picture before. You shouldn't have been in that room. It isn't safe for initiates in there. It was a dare. Please don't tell Miss Marta or Mr. Harrow. I don't want to get in trouble. I won't. And to answer your question, yes, I did live here. I was like you, a scared kid brought here by Marta for the chance of a new life. I like Marta. She's so nice. I always feel safe when I'm with her. Most adults aren't like that. They either don't notice you or they do for the wrong reasons. But Marta, she cared about us. The long pause, and then the initiate looks, screwing up her courage to ask. Can I ask you a question? Go ahead. When I overheard Marta talking with Mr. Harrow yesterday, I think they were talking about our meeting with him. The one where Marta was just telling us about. Where will we see the world we'll see the world in a different way. Go on. I couldn't really hear the whole conversation. It was all muffled. But what I could hear was kind of weird. Mr. Harris said some stuff about a shrine, and then it sounded like he changed the subject because he started talking about dinner. Something about chopping up meat. Well, Marta got real upset, said, they're too new, they're not ready. Make the older ones do it. Stuff like that. But then Mr. Harris said some other things, and then she calmed down again, and we left her. When she left, she was smiling. And so I was just wondering, do you know what they were talking about? I want to make sure that Marta is okay, but I can't ask her about it because I don't want her to find out that I was eavesdropping. I think I know what Marta has planned for you. Have you ever opened the fridge in the other room? No? Why? Is there what's going on to make dinner? I wouldn't worry about it. We'll make sure that Marta is okay. All right, but don't tell her I told you, please. Don't worry, we won't. How long have you been here anyway? Almost a week? It's wonderful. Of course it is. So much nicer than living on the street, isn't it? You be good, sweetie. Don't worry. We'll take care of Marta. The girl smiles sheepishly and steps back. As you pass by her on the way out the door, Gloria shoots you with a sidelong glare. It's like I thought. Things haven't changed in the past few years. How so? Back when I lived here, Harold would never let such a fresh convert prepare a sacrifice. He'd wait until she was in it so deep in that she felt so indebted to him that she couldn't turn tail and run. It was a rule. You let newcomers get settled for a month or two before teaching them more unsavory aspects of the cult life. Even then, you start them off slow. Their first lesson would be use pork or chicken, never human meat. That didn't come until much later. Indoctrinating a new recruit after a week is risky as hell, and he'd never have done it when I lived here. Shrine he's using to brainwash initiates faster than he used to. That's what I'm thinking. Harrow's getting lazy, letting his captive spirit do the heavy lifting for him. So what does that mean for us? Still working on that, but I don't think his shrine is too over Harrow anymore. I think he relies on it and he's using it as a crutch. She cracks a slightly thoughtful expression on his face. I think he's letting himself become dependent on the damned thing. We're never going to have to do what we saw in the kitchen. We won't let that happen. On that, we agree. All right. Don't think there's anything else we can do. Save it, and then go confront Marta. Open the door. Moving through is lovely. Full lips contrast artfully with her fine elven features, and a tumble of fine red hair spilled down over her shoulder. Beyond her physical beauty, there's something inherently approachable about her. She exudes an almost palpable aura of kindness and warmth. Marta, Glory's old lover, the lure that Howard used to draw her and so many others to Versteller. She looks up and starts the sound of your approach. Her eyes go wide aside of Glory as she takes in her cyberware. A mouth falls open in horror. Glory? Yes, Marta, it's me. It's been a long time. It has. Marta swallows a horrified look on hasn't left her face. Glory, what have you done to yourself? What I had to do, I got out, Marta. This was the only way. Oh, Glory, all at once, the horror of Marta's face is replaced with an expression of profound sorrow. I am so sorry. Marta steps forward with her arms extended to wrap Glory in a hug. All at once, something in Glory's face changes. Her skin goes from pale to pallid, and her breath becomes ragged. She takes a step back and raises her claws into a defensive posture. Her voice froths over cold rage. Don't you touch me. You're one of Harrow's creatures. You always were. One of his creatures. Glory, what are you talking about? Keep it cool, Glory. This isn't like you. Look at me, Kassir. A good, long look. I was forced to sacrifice my own body in order to escape from this place, to act away at what's made me human, and she's the one who brought me here. Maybe so at the end of the day, it was your decision to come here. Nobody held a gun to your head. You're right, of course, it was my choice, but it doesn't change what she is or what she did to me. If she hadn't found me, hadn't baited me here, none of this would have happened. None of what? I haven't done anything. If you'd just left me where you'd found me, I never would have hurt anybody. My mother would still be alive. I never would have sold my soul to that abomination that you all worship, and I wouldn't have had to sacrifice my own body to escape from it. This place is everything. This place took everything from me, and it all started with you. Harrow and I rescued you from a life on the street. Beautiful girl, homeless, penniless, living in a gutter. I pulled you away from all that. I saved you. There is a longer pause where Gloria stares into Marta's eyes, her expression unreadable. I don't feel much anymore, Marta. Most of the time I'm completely numb. But for you, I can make an exception. I hate you. Sorry that you feel that way, Glory. For my part, I still love you. Another lie. That's the last one you'll ever tell. I don't think that she's lying, or at least she doesn't think so. She believes what she's saying. It's because it's true. I'll prove it to you. The words come stammering out of her eyes fixed on Glory's razors. Ask me anything you want. I'll show you that I'm telling you the truth. I never wanted anything bad to happen to you, Glory. Not ever. Listen to her. She's just telling you what you want to hear. There's the whole purpose here. Remember? She's bait. Why should we listen to anything she has to say? Glory's ring. Because of this and the photo that I have nailed it to. If she were lying, she wouldn't have kept them all these years. All right, Marta. Convince me. Glory stares at the moment for the naked hostility in her face. The razors slide back into her housings with a click. Convince you of what? I'm not a monster? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do that, Glory. You start by telling me how you sleep at night. How you know what happens to the kids you bring in here. You know what happened to me. But you're still luring them here in Harrow's clutches all these years later. So tell me, how do you live with yourself? Explain it to me. For a moment, you can see the conflict behind Marta's eyes. If cognitive dissonance had a face, it would be hers. Confusion, frightened, angry, at war with herself. For a moment, she struggles to speak. Then the whispering sensations that you felt outside of the compound come back and her face changes. The muscles of her brow relax and she appears to be at peace. Why are you asking me this, Glory? You already know the answers. The kids here, they aren't being hurt. They're walking the path of free and pure life, just like Harrow taught us. Shrine's whispering to her, Glory. I can feel it too. She's blissed out on it like you said. Harrow was a great man, a prophet. True sacrifices have to be made, but what brings in return? So much love, Glory. You remember? Yeah, you're right. After so many years of living here, I don't know if she even knows what normal feels like anymore. She steps forward and grabs Marta by her shoulders and curiously soft gesture. Marta, if what you're saying is true, if you ever really did care for me, then please give me your key. It's important. Key? Whatever you use to get past the ward outside the Harrower Shrine. I need it. Don't ask why. Just do this for me. You owe me that much. No, Harrower said that I must guard this. He told me that I could never take it off. I can't question the Harrower's orders. It would be wrong. You questioned him about what he's planning on doing with those initiates back there. Was that wrong? That's different. She blinks, then whispering some return, soft, insistent, the flicker of unreason in her face is replaced with an easy smile. You wouldn't understand. Then maybe you could explain it to me. Maybe you could answer my question. I'd be able to see the light. Yes, please, go on and ask your questions. I'll explain everything to you. And you'll see for yourself how perfect and right our way really is. How beautiful it can be. Harrow's running runways that you bring here. You can see that, can't you? I read Harrow's manifesto. Looks like she spends a long time talking about charity. Yes, of course, charity. That kind of practice when you rescue people from the streets. But then, in his rules of living, he says that all free thinkers are supposed to be selfish. Well, yes, but after that, he says that only the strong deserve to prosper. So which is it? Martha blinks. She looks momentarily confused, and then you see a conviction clamp down behind her eyes. You still understand the beauty of this message, the truth behind it. Harrow is evil, you get that, right? I mean, he worships the devil. What else do you need? Smile on Marta's face. I don't know what Glory told you, but the adversary isn't the devil. Calling him that, reducing him to a cartoonishly embodiment of evil, is an insult. The adversary that I revere is a personification of rebellion, conflict, and change, of anarchy. The fact that you live in Berlin but hold the adversary in contempt proves one thing. Either you're ignorant or you're a hypocrite. What I've seen here, Glory, was right. On the mark when she said that the adversary was evil, if anyone else is ignorant, it's you. Harrow warned us about this kind of backward thinking, but I wasn't expecting to hear it from you. I'd always assumed that Shadowrunners were savvy enough to know what a good and evil don't exist. 9 times out of 10, I'd agree with you, but Marta, the adversary is a special case. Somewhere deep down, you must know that. Marta sighs and her voice takes on a kind of tone. I don't have to believe anything that you tell me. You don't get to dictate my spiritual beliefs. The fact that you're even trying is sad, Glory. I expect more from you. Done with this. If you want to go slandering the Isle, I serve to do it somewhere else. As for you, you certainly can either change the subject or you can ready to fight. I won't hear any more of this blasphemy. Harrow's hurting the runaways you bring here. You can see that, can't you? Hurting? How so? He's going to make the initiates, the young initiates, like the girl in the next room, do something horrible. That girl, such a sweet young thing. I rescued her from a bad place, Glory. Her and the boys in the small dorm as well. But they're safe now, and isn't that what's important? Are they? You know what I'm talking about, Marta. The harvesting, the meat. Marta blinks. She looks momentarily confused, and then you see conviction clamp down on behind her eyes. It is regrettable, yes, but it happens for a good reason. They're trying to keep us safe here. And safety is something that a lot of us kids have never known. The initiates have to learn that the things are done here, and we all have our responsibility. Do you have anything else to say? Any other examples of how Hera was supposedly hurting us? To wave in my faith? If you do so, I'm all ears. I can promise you that you'll like my responses. I promise you that you'll like my responses. He's corrupting you all. How many of them has he taken as his wives? Yourself included. She rolls her eyes at you. A lesson in Puritan values from a Shadowrunner. How quaint. This isn't about you. I don't care what you do, Marta. I'm talking about child abuse. Harrow doesn't take the young ones for wives. I don't know what Gloria's told you, but he isn't a monster, and even the youngest initiates aren't children. Not really. Life on the street took that from them a long time ago. First Order lets them be themselves, but in the safe place. Certainly safer than the back alleys of some urban hellhole like the one you lived in. I was young when you chose me, Marta. Maybe not innocent, but young. Somewhere deep down, you know that this is wrong. When you lived with us, you didn't think it was wrong. You loved it here. You can rewrite history. You can cast yourself as a victim if you want. If demonizing me helps. You can do that too, but nobody has even forced you to do anything, Glory. Glory falls out the color days from her face. Clearly a difficult subject. I don't know what you were hoping to achieve by bringing it up. But I promise you, you aren't going to convince me to abandon my way of life. Our ways are our own. You can't change all that. All that you can do is accept it and move on. You see that hairwash is brainwash you into thinking this is okay. But Marta, it isn't. You just don't know when to give up, do you? Our ways aren't yours. But that doesn't give you the right to judge us. Who are you to impose the ideology on this commune? An outsider, someone who hasn't been corrupted by Harrow or his pet spirit. I'd say it qualifies me to offer an opinion. Tell you what you are. You're the kind of person that Harrow has always warned us about. Your sense of moral outrage doesn't trump our right to live in the way we can choose. She takes a deep breath, struggles to calm herself. If you have some more accusations to hurl at my husband, go ahead and do it. I'll tell you how wrong you are. I prefer to keep this conversation civil, but it's up to you. When Gloria lived here, he had to kill a man for his trid player. How can that be right? Marta blinks, she's momentarily confused, and then you see the conviction clamp back down her eyes. That was a long time ago, and the man wanted to hurt the commune. We did what we had to do. So yes, of course we took it. Why let a perfectly good tridio go to waste? Just justify however you like, Marta. I can't any longer. You're confused, Glory. Lost. But go on. Tell me how Harrow is hurting us, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. There's something else I'd like to ask you about. Glory said you two spent a lot of time in the lounge back there when she lived there. What did you do there? She shrugs. The usual. Drink, play games, have sex with the trid. Have sex, watch the trid, the sorts of things that lovers do, usually in their free time. Why do you ask? Because we found a tattered, blood-stained shirt in there. Looked like it came from an initiate. The confusion washes over her face again. She begins blinking, agitated, and fidgeting. Then the unseen force clamps down on her again, and she seems calm. So you found a shirt. So what? There could be hundreds of explanations for that. You know what kind of things happen in that room, Marta. You heard the stories. We both did. She shakes her head. I've never seen an initiate harmed in that room. Not once. As for the rumors, well, they're just that, rumors. They have to be. Give us the amulet, Marta. It's the right thing to do. You feel the whispering again, and the look on confusion satisfies Marta. I don't know what to do. You say what you say makes sense, but it feels wrong somehow, and I can't. It isn't you. This place. It gets into your head. It took more than this to wake me up to it. I don't know what to do. She slowly fishes the amulet between her breasts, and she holds it out to you with her trembling hand. Take it and go. Do what you need to. Thank you, Marta. She holds her head, clasps her both hands, a tortured expression overtaking her face. Please, just go. Well, I didn't have to kill her, so that's good. Said you just wanted to talk to her. She ran out of here in tears. Her mother died. We're going to go calm her down right now. Oh, poor Marta. Take care of her, okay? Did she go anywhere? I keep talking to her. Or did she leave? I guess you must have left. Step forward, the scintillating red light that streams from your bot from the doorway flickers and dies. There's a strange lurching sensation in your gut, but it's clear almost instantly. The door swings open with a touch. It seems to have done it. Lori nods and then reaches into her satchel. She hands back, out clutching a small jar. I'm going to put the smear of this on your forehead. It's a sort of alchemical balm. Hera taught me how to make it. She unscrews the cap in the jar, revealing a pale white ointment. Surface glitters strangely in the dim light. If you ever wondered where my share of the take from our job is gone, here's the answer. Powdered orichalcum isn't cheap. Wow! Orichalcum? Where'd you even find a supplier? Phallus-monger Algernon hooked me up with some contact for this. Toch Trollkongregation Schwarzwald. Its prices are high, but considering the rarity of this material, they're fair. Thankfully, I don't need much to make it the balm. The boundary between the material world and the astral plane are weak here. The stuff acts sort of like a lens. It focuses your perceptions, makes the haze real. She applies a smear of ointment on her forehead and looks like a glob of getting white paint. With this, we can deal with the spirits on its own level. Sounds like a plan to me. That's good, because we don't have another one. Back to the balm, tries to set down your forehead. The ointment feels cool and oily on your skin. She finishes in her bag a second time and pulls out a pair of silver necklaces. A rune-inscribed pendant dangles from each. This will protect you and the astral self. This will protect your astral self from the spiritual possession. Don't take it off while we're dealing with the shrine, whatever you do. Put the pendant on. Got it. What's on her own pendant? The necklace glints slightly against her pale skin. I don't know what's going to happen when we step into the room, because here we're playing with forces outside of our control. Are you ready to do this? Ready as you'll ever be. At the very beginning of this thing, we're both agreed that however needs to die. I still want that. I want to bury my claws in his belly and pull his entrails out for what he did to me and all the other kids like me. But from what we've seen here tonight, I suspect that Hera isn't the real power here anymore. Explain. I think that when Hera started using the shrine, he handed the spirit trapped inside of the keys to the kingdom. The bastard might think he's in charge here, but he isn't. Not anymore. He's a servant, just like everybody else. The only difference is that he doesn't know it. Interesting. What that means for us is that we shouldn't have to kill Hera to put an end to all this. I don't think that he'll be much more of a threat on his own. Not anymore. If we can manage to purify the spirit rather than killing it, it'll withdraw from the cult's minds willingly. We can save him. If we purify the spirit, Fursteller will die. We'll save all the kids and the nightmare will end. Feel that strongly about it, we can shift our focus to rescuing the kids instead. That is your glory. I'm just here to help. This is your run, Glory. I'm just here to help. Thank you. I'd hate to do the wrong thing here. Let's put the end to all this. We'll heal the spirit and then the cultists. We'll send Hera running and shut this place down. That's the plan. Let's do this. You approach the shrine. A chorus of high sibilant voices fill the air. The sound is light and airy, but something about it fills you with the bone-deep dread. Welcome home, Glory. Glory's eyes go wide. She opens her mouth and speaks, but nothing escapes her. Glory, what? Something slams into you, a wave of intangible force that turns consciousness inside out and sends shockwaves reverberating through your mind. The world lurches and everything goes black. Slowly you begin to stir. Murky, flickering impressions invade the oily stillness of your unconscious mind. The sensations come in waves, washing up over you and drinking you back towards consciousness. Smell acrid smoke and burning meat, the roar of distant flames whispering in your ears. When your eyes flutter open, you see a dull red glare fills your vision. As you attempt to struggle to your feet, you become dimly aware of the gravity here feels wrong. Everything is heavier than it should be. Slowly the waves grow still and your senses calm. You find yourself staring into the infinite horizon, the blasted ruins of Fursteller stretching out in all directions as far as the eye can see. Warily, she surveys around you. I'd say that's an understatement. Where the hell are we? I can't say for certain, but one thing's I am sure of, wherever this place is, the adversary holds his sway here. This place is whatever it is. We're going to... If the adversary's domain, wouldn't that make it this hell? No, I don't think that's as simple as that. But the spirits here we're hunting is going to be here, right? It should be here, somewhere. Hey, more fiery demons. What?
Oh.
Damn it. Really? Feel kind of awkward using a fire spell on a fire spirit, but what do I know? Really? Oh, I was gonna say. Stop hitting me. Of course I'm just gonna miss him, you know? The thing hovering before you is hideous. Its broad chest is jacketed in a scale-like patches of burning coal. Many sets of antlers shimmer with heat. It's many sets of antlers shimmer with heat. It smells like a barn fire, wood smoke, burning fur, and blackened body. As the spirit inclines its head towards Glory and spreads its arms in welcome. Glory, welcome, child. It speaks in a chorus of clear, linting voices. You don't hear them so much as feel them in a sensation strange like hundreds of butterflies floating in your chest. What a pleasure it is to see you again. Standing before a separate space, standing before the towering form spirit, she looks frail and small, takes a deep breath and steels herself and speaks. I know what you were, Spirit, before the adversary twisted you, before Harrow would bound you into this rock. She drops her hand and the scratches etc. Came here, I can help you be that again. All you need to do is let me. We are not in need of help. We are our great master's servant, just as Harrow is, just as you are, despite your misguided attempts to cut away his love for you from your heart. His voice is in your head, it's softened, becomes sad, but the fluttering in your chest turns ugly. Like a buzzing wings, a swarm of butterflies, a swarm of blowflies. You've managed yourself biggest wrong parent. You did it to spite him. He, who was your greatest benefactor, you betrayed him, child. He loves all of you. He loves you all the same. That! Sounds like a pretty reasonable guy. Get the shit, Spirit. We know what your masters love to do to people. Slowly, terribly, the Spirit begins to turn. You can hear the crack of pop of its splintered vertebrae as its enormous head shifts on its shoulders. It flexes its cavernous gaze upon you. Your friend, this outsider, speaks out of turn. We take no offense. Her words are like a babble of a newborn babe. She is ignorant of the truth. If the noise continues, we will teach her, and she will babble, and the babble will cease. Her Spirit inclines its head towards you. If the noise continues, we will teach her. Oh, never mind. Don't. A message from you, a great master. He has a gift for you, a peace offering, one that he has offered you. A sign of his continued affection for you. He knows that you desire his servant's destruction as a symbol of his love. He'll grant you the power to bring an end to Harrow. He knows that you wish to free this children from Firstiller, a sign of his compassion. He will help you set me free. You can have everything you want, child, all of this and more. Remain silent. It's a nice pitch, Spirit, but you neglected to mention the price. Spirit leans forward towards her, clasping its hands. It will cost you nothing. A simple gesture, a trifle, a show of good faith. If you demonstrate your love for him, he will reward you beyond your wildest dreams. Remove the protective ward from your neck, and his gift is yours for the taking. Yours forevermore. Glory cranes her neck and looks up the reeking, cadaverous thing and looms over her. I have my own limbs hacked off to get away from the adversary. I paid somebody to do it. That's how badly I wanted to get free of your great master. Your offer is pathetic, as it is predictable. To be frank, I'm disappointed in you. The barn fire stench of the Spirit thickens, and his antlers glow white. The heat radiating from the thing is like an oven, a kiln, a blast furnace. If you rebuke our great master a second time, I will chew you what's left of you into mulch. The marrow from your bones will nourish the garden. I promise you this, child. I promise it. I have a better idea. She dips her hand into the satchel and produces a Summer Diego. The blade shimmers alien in the light. We're going to purify you, Spirit, and after we've finished, you'll help us rescue those kids. Very well, child. If the pain is what you seek, we'll bring it to you. Beneath its leathery skin, this thing's bones begin to shift, straining against the ligaments, tendons that behind them. A hideous crackle sounds as it fills the air as its skeleton splinters and pops. As you watch the spirit body begins to rupture, great lesions upon it, the creature's chest back, and the rib cage cracks for a moment over internal pressure. The spirit chest heaves and foul liquid pours from the rips of the flesh. A flash of light stabs your eyes, and when your vision clears, you find 3 identical spirits floating before you. Death comes in many forms, child. Yours will be swift and brutal. All right, we're gonna hide here. And zap it. Ow! He returns as a shadow. The form was supposed to be insatiable. The projection of a man distorted by distance. His silhouette ripples and flails in the wind. Though through the haze you can see his face. He is more beautiful than handsome, with sculpted features and an unnaturally youthful complexion. His expression is sad. Harrow. Glory. The deep voice is faint, but marred by echoes. It sounds as if he shouted from afar. Shouldn't have come here. I was content to let you live out your life in peace. I've come to put an end to this place, Harrow. This place and your pathetic, sickening cult. I don't want to kill you, Glory, and I won't unless you force my hand. The flickering silhouette shreds its arms wide. Ask me for my protection, and will usher you out of this place. You can leave first to learn in peace. If you ask me politely, I'll even let your friend leave with you. I won't abandon your victims here, Harrow. Not again. I'm going to burn this place to the ground. My only regret is that you weren't here in person to burn with it. A fight then, very well. The air still around him begins to pulse some scintillating bursts of color. He's ripple transparent from below as you brought this upon yourself. Here now and do stuff because getting that close is just ruining things for me. That's the one I need to kill. Weakened in the spirit's form flickers and sparks. The burning coals that cling to its body fall off in clumps, and its serine antlers begin to cool. The chorus of lengthening voices warbles and shrieks as its body transmogrifies into something else. Through the haze, you can see Harrow's eyes go wide. At once, his rippling silhouette begins to fade back into the shadows whence it came. His body becomes insubstantial. Go ahead and run, you coward. Run back to the real world and whatever hole you crawled out of, we'll catch you. Shadows in the shape of a man smile back at you. The distance his voice may increase. It sounds like he's shouting from miles away. I don't think so. You don't even know where the real me is, Glory. Oh, don't worry, we'll find you. We're good at that sort of thing. Believe whatever you like, fool. It won't do you any good. Years from now, I'll still be doing what I do, and you'll have accomplished nothing. Go ahead, Harrow. Try to step another cult. You won't get far, but before I hunt you down. You know better than that, but nothing makes me happier than the sound of you lying to yourself. Goodbye, Glory. Run, coward. Run far, far away. We'll find you. Glory continues staring at the long moment, then spots where the projection of Harrow vanished. Her expression is unreadable. Slowly she turns away. Spirit, writhing form continues its transformation. Twisted claws buckle and break and reform. Charred bone begins to heal. The barn fire stench slowly dies away, replaced by an array of more pleasant smells. Oak and pine and mineral oil, rustic feasts and mulled wine. As it cools, the spirit raises its head, its body shaking as newborn foals. What has happened to us? What have we done? You did what the adversary wanted you to do. Use your imagination. But we couldn't have. You don't get to run from this. You've committed unspeakable acts, Spirit, loathsome, unforgivable crimes. You have corrupted children, turned them into killers. You have been a party to violence, torture, and the desecration of corpses. You've created monsters. Spirit cringes, shaking its great head from side to side. It doesn't speak, but low rumbling sound emanates from somewhere deep within its chest. Unpleasant to think about, isn't it? But you have to, Spirit. Spirit, you can't run from what you've done. Your actions are a part of whether you like it or not. The rumbling sound turns into a tormented howl. The noise conjures images of mourning mothers and caged animals, screeching orphans and dying men. It is a sound of pure, unmitigated despair. Listen to me, Spirit. I need your help. We're here to rescue the cultists of Fürsteller, the street kids whose minds you've touched. We're getting them out of here before you and the adversary can do to them what it did to you. Spirit stares at Glory for a long moment. Finally, it dips its head and nods. We will help you. No time like the present. Get to it. We have already done so. The cultists of Fürsteller are themselves again. We wish to do more. We have much more to atone for you, as you said. Go ahead, we won't stop you. No, but the stone will. We're still bound to this shrine. Anchored here, we can do nothing without your help. Tell us what we need us to do. We need an appropriate vessel to carry us out of the rock, something touched by magic, but more dead than alive. He dips his head. Do you have anything that can help us? Yes, I think so. She reaches up and towards her hand and wraps around the protective ward that hangs around her necks. Say nothing. With a single motion, she snaps the chains. The pendant falls to the floor. The heart of Fürsteller lowers its eyes. Let's head to the traces of elaborate gesture in the air. A warm glow envelops you, and its similar glows spill from the air. There's a bright flash, and the spirit is gone. Glory, are you okay? I can feel it. The spirit. It's bound to me now. The spirit help us like it said? See for yourself. She wants to help people, to heal them. It wants redemption just like us. Together, we may find it. Behind your eyes, a vision starts to twist. It feels as though you're being turned inside out. Time to go. With the spirit like the adversary severed, the entire reality is falling apart. See you in the real world, Glory. Yeah, we'll see you there. Slowly swim back to the consciousness, struggling at your feet. You find Glory already standing at an alert. I can feel them. Spirit set them free, but they're trapped somewhere here in the complex. The initiates, you mean? Yes, and others. We need to find them and get them out of here. The connection between this compound and whatever we were is breaking down. As that place disintegrates, more and more things spill out through, like rats fleeing a sinking ship. Say no more, we're getting out of here. Now without cultists. But yes, let's get moving. Shoot the door open and stumble forward into the room. You find yourself surrounded by a sea of teenage faces. Their initiates all huddled together and trembling. With the spirit's influence cleared from their minds, they look frightened and lots like kids who've had their security blankets torn away. Laura steps forward and speaks. Her voice is gentle. Come on, all of you. We're taking you to safety, someplace far away from here. What happened to you? Your arms. A scrawny teenager routed and coach glares at Glory Coleman and mounted hanging slack. Voice slacks when he speaks. Something that you'll never need to worry about. Come on, let's get the hell out of here. Couldn't have put it better myself. Come on, people. We're taking you to someplace safe. Yay. You thread your way back to the trees of the Shadowrun Forest, tracing your way back to the thicket where you and Glory had the van. The inferno that consumed First Stellar is spreading, and the conflagration casts the forest around you in a sinister orange light. The heat at your back intenses unbearable. Far ahead, Glory blazes a trail for you to follow, shredding the foliage in her path. The liberated initiates teeter on the edge of panic, and they struggle to keep the pace behind you. The flare is moving fast, but you're faster. As Glory helps the last of the kids in the van, you put their vehicle in gear and punch the accelerator. The burning ruin of First Stellar recedes into the distance, a glowing speck of the rearview mirror. The peace and safety of the crew bazaar lies ahead. Probably should have talked to Eager before I do this to get some closure. Oh well, it's too late now. Alrighty then. Well, that was interesting. Just had a little duel with the devil. And stopped an evil cult. So, getting pretty good. Don't know how much of this is left. I feel like there should be more left, but I also feel like we're kind of at the end of the game. So, I don't know. Hopefully, there'll still be more. If not, I don't know. Maybe we finish up next time. Maybe not. Probably not going to be... It's probably going to be my last stream of the year, considering that, you know, next week is Christmas Eve, and the week after that is, well, I'll be out of town, so... Yeah. So we'll see where it goes, but yeah. You all... thank you so much for stopping in, and we'll see you next time.